Hi you guys, and welcome back to the Small Black Business Review, where I, Joelle, review small black businesses, their services, and come through every now and again with some tips, tricks, and story times. This one, as you can tell, is a story time. So, I am here to give you my story time on how I became a preschool teacher, for you who are interested. So, let's start from where I'm at right now. I am a 36-year-old home daycare provider, okay? And I've been doing this for the last 3 years. Before that, I was a substitute teacher and stop. Okay, so I'm 36. I have been doing this for over 13 years. I started, for about 14 years. So I had my daughter, who is 15 now. I had my daughter and I stayed at home with her for 6 months. 6 months with my then baby daddy. So it was me, my baby daddy, and my baby. And so my baby daddy was working, so I got to stay home and be with my daughter for 6 months. But for me, I am a go-getter. I'm a hustler. I'm all about go get my own money. My mom definitely raised me like that. So after 6 months, I decided that I wanted to get back into the working field. And it just so happened that I was taking some college courses before I really decided to go into the working field. And there just so happened to be a job posting in Stockton, California. At the time I was in Stockton, California. There was a job posting for a preschool teacher with no experience. It was actually an assistant, a preschool teacher assistant with no experience, or like willing to get 3 units or something like that. I applied, got the job right away, and so I started out as an assistant. I loved being around kids, and it was really funny because I thought being a mom would make me be a better preschool teacher, but it was the other way around. Being a preschool teacher made me become a better mom, and I still believe that today, even though my kids are older, okay? And so, let's go back. 6 months, I'm ready to go. I get my first time job and I need somewhere to put my baby. Well, because I was working for a daycare that was a large owned daycare that had multiple sites, I was able to enroll my daughter in that same company, just at a different site. So I was able to get daycare for free and find a job with no experience or little experience. I did put that I had experience babysitting, and I've been working with kids ever since I was in the 6th grade. I even knew in the 6th grade that I was gonna have hella kids, and now I realize that I still might have hella kids. They're just not gonna be mine, okay? Like, I won't birth them through my vagina or anything like that. So my baby's 6 months, I'm a preschool teacher, and I'm working with a lady who is not happy. She's not happy in her life, and it's translating over into work, but I'm her assistant. So yeah, when you're stuck in a small area with screaming kids and somebody who's not happy, it doesn't make for good work. And so I decided to go back to school. After being in that position, I met a black woman who was a substitute and had it like really, really good, owned her own house. She was young, didn't have any kids, and she was traveling, and she was just working just to be working. And I thought that was so cool. And so one of the things she told me is invest and go to school, right? And so I decided to go back to school, got an associate teacher's degree, went back to school, and then went up in my field and became an associate teacher, an assistant teacher. No, I was an assistant and then became an associate teacher. And then went back to school, got more education, and then became a teacher. Went back to school and got more education and became a lead teacher. And so every time I went back to school and got more education, I applied for a higher paying position with those requirements. So as you can see, I'm slowly getting the education, slowly getting the experience, and getting pay raises. Sometimes I could go to the company that I was with, which is super rare, and ask them for a pay raise because of the education that I got. And for the most part, no, that didn't work. I would just apply somewhere else, tell them I had that education, and they would give me the pay raise. So I was in Stockton. I was not happy. I had just graduated with my AA degree in 2009, and it was a dual AA degree, one in child development and then the other one in liberal studies. And this is in 2008, 2009, when the economy crashed. So at the time I was dating somebody totally different. They had a bachelor's degree. I had an AA degree. I had just graduated. And at the time I was working on the college campus as a teacher there and got laid off. Okay, so we decided that we wanted to leave Stockton because the opportunities were not good for us, and we already had education. And as Black people with education, there are more leeways, but we knew that Stockton was all dried up. So we ended up splitting. I came to Oakland, that person went somewhere else, and we haven't been back together ever since. And I've been in Oakland ever since. So I've been in Oakland for the last 11 years. So my first job coming out here, I was making $16 an hour. I thought I was balling. I was so happy. And I ended up working for a place that really shaped and molded my view of child care. And it was a place that catered to Hispanic teens in San Francisco. They changed the name a couple of times, but they catered to pregnant teens. And so we would teach the teenagers how to interact and take care of their babies. I really enjoyed parts of that, but I didn't enjoy parts of the paperwork and the political things that were going on, and ended up leaving that place. After that, I kind of bounced around a few places, then realized that I wanted my freedom. And how would I get my freedom as a teacher when you had to be there 5 days a week for an 8-hour, 9-hour shift? Well, through me bouncing around and watching other places, I knew that if I worked for multiple places as a substitute, I could get full-time money and the flexibility and freedom to kind of come and go as I wanted to. Plus, as far as Medi-Cal and stuff like that, I applied for Medi-Cal and I would get assistance. And so I could take the time off that I wanted without begging for time off. I worked full-time hours because most teachers are burnt out and call in sick often, so they always need substitutes. And if you work for more than one company, you definitely are booked. And I learned that if I really, really, really didn't want to be a teacher who was stuck to a classroom, I had to be savvy with my money. So then when I wanted the time off, I had money to cover my bills, and I had money to take time off to go on vacation or spend time with my kids or whatever the case may be. And so that's what I started to do. I applied for one place that they had multiple sites, so they were always sending me places, so I had full-time money. And I got to take off time, and I got to say if I want to work at a specific site, or if I didn't want to work at a specific site, or if I want to work in a different class, or I didn't want to work in a specific class. And I really like that flexibility because I'm an Aries. I love my freedom. I like to be able to come and go as I please. So entrepreneurship has always, always, always been something that I knew was for me. And so after being a substitute, I figured, hey, I just really wanted to work for a Black-owned company. I found a Black-owned company back in San Francisco in the Bayview. And so that is where I spent a lot of time in my 20s, my late teens, 20s, is in the Bayview. And so for me, I was like, great, I get to go back and give back to the community that really shaped me in my late teens. And so I was working for a Black-owned company. The daughter was the director and the mother was the owner. So I thought this was great. I thought it was great. I'd be working for a Black-owned company. They would show me some tricks in the trade. They would show me how to really take care of the community and make my money. Well, that's not exactly what happened. They ran business a little different than I run business. And so for me, they were more focused on the coins, the ducats, the dollar, the bag. And I ain't mad at it, but I don't think that the kids and your business should suffer. And so spirit led me to get fired from this place. And in the midst of me getting fired, I ended up taking them to court, and they ended up having to pay me back pay for vacation. And that is how I started my daycare. right? I took that not so blessing and turned that blessing into the daycare. And it was funny because the whole time I was there, I was always brainstorming and networking with my coworkers and other people about what it would be like for me when I opened my daycare, what I wanted to do. And so I've been able to do that for the last 3, almost 4 years. And now I've been blessed to move to this different site, where not only will I'll be able to expand my home daycare, I'll be able to open a center as well. So I'll have 2 businesses running under 2 separate licenses with me as the owner. And so this should be interesting. I hope you guys get a chance to follow along with me. So I wanted to just give you guys some insight on how I became a preschool teacher. And so then that way, if you want to do it, you can. And you knew or get to know how I ended up here. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, as always, if you know somebody in the community of melanated descent, Black, African, Negro, who's doing something positive, dope in the community that you would like to support, please leave their information down below. So that way, when I get back to my reviews for you guys, I can review their business and then make a video for you guys. All right. Bye.